The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Namibia joins other member states in congratulating you on your election as President of 76th session of United Nations General Assembly, which is convened under the theme, quote, building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainability, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of the people, and revitalize the United Nations, unquote. We also wish to commend the Secretary General, His Excellency Guterres, for his profound and moving statement, highlighting the many challenges the world is faced with, while imploring world leaders to act now to solve these problems. Your Excellency, we have heard your clarion call, loud and clear. Mr. President, for the second year in a row, the world finds itself engulfed by the dark cloud of COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to claim thousands of lives daily. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Global efforts to develop vaccines have been a scientific victory and testament to human ingenuity. In just under a year, the unexpected has happened. Several different vaccines have been tested and produced to be delivered to millions around the world. Unfortunately, the global rollout of the vaccines has not been impervious to the scourges of inequality. Vaccine apartheid has resulted in significant disparities in terms of vaccine rollout and availability, with many people in developing countries left out. It is a pity that we have a situation where in some countries, citizens are at the stage of receiving booster shots, while in other countries, many are still waiting to receive their first doses of vaccines. Let us bear in mind that, quote unquote, no one is safe unless we are all safe. The COVID-19 has impacted poorer countries more acutely and unevenly. Faced with high levels of debt and no access to finance, developing countries are struggling to mitigate these severe effects of the crisis. Namibia, however, aims to deploy innovative approaches to ensure sustainable economic development in this volatile period of COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. Given our renewable resources such as solar, wind, as well as the ocean, Namibia has decided to prioritize the development of green and blue economies. Furthermore, we are also well positioned through our recent membership to the high-level panel on ocean sustainability to design and champion a sustainable blue economy, which will grow our economic base and create the much-needed jobs, while also tackling climate change. Additionally, Namibia has made progress in incubating renewable energy assets in the form of green hydrogen and ammonia as part of its energy order to enable us to act in the best interest of our planet and its citizens. To this extent, Africa has come a long way from the days of first wave of African leaders who paved the way towards independence. These leaders were extraordinary personalities who definitely forced us to fight for our independence. These first wave of African leaders were followed by second wave of African leaders who were caught up in a Cold War confusion and therefore one-party states and military coups. Following this period of global conflict in form of a Cold War, resulted in Africa having coups. However, having emerged from the tumultuous period, the third wave of African leaders have ushered in an era defined by democratic elections and term limits. I'm talking about first wave of African leaders were our founding fathers, second wave of African leaders were caught up in the Cold War confusion, and the third wave of African leaders are those who are now in power, who come through regular elections and are abiding to term limits. However, recently we had a setback in two countries. But unlike in the past where the other people are going to tell Africans what to do, it was Africans, the ECOWAS and AU, who decided and exercised them, and demanding that there must be a constitutional order in return. That's now the new Africa that we believe in. New Africa which believes in constitutional order. Mr. President, Namibia stands firm in its belief that there is no room for discrimination of any kind in this world. In this regard, we remain committed to the implementation of Durban Declaration and Program of Action, which embodies our firm commitment as an international community to rid the world from the scourges of racism, xenophobia, and related intolerance at national, regional, and international level. The question of Palestine, now into its 73rd year after Nakba, remains unresolved. On this crucial issue, Namibia wishes to amplify the statement by Secretary General Guterres, who explicitly stated that leaders on both sides should resume a meaningful dialogue, recognizing the two-state solution as the only pathway to a just and comprehensive peace. Similarly, it has now been nearly 50 years, and still the people of Western Sahara are waiting for their right to exercise their right to freedom and independence. Namibia welcomes the appointment of His Excellency Alexander Avango as Secretary General as the Special Representative for Western Sahara. We hope new Special Representative will devote his full attention to the matter to enable the people of Western Sahara to have the opportunity to exercise their right to self-determination without further delay. In the same vein, Mr. President, in accordance with the resolutions adopted by this August Assembly, we call on an end of the economic, commercial, and financial embargo of the United States against Cuba. The people of Cuba deserve to pursue the developmental aspirations and attain economic freedom. We call on President Biden, who was an invaluable member of President Obama's administration, which sought a rapprochement between Washington and Havana, to rekindle that spirit of respect and peace between USA and Cuba, which President Obama pursued. Mr. President, Namibia is committed to the reform of the United Nations Security Council. As a member of the African Union Committee of 10, we therefore call on all countries to support the reform of the UN Security Council in line with the Esuli Consensus and SEDE Declaration. Mr. President, As we continue to build back better, we have a collective responsibility to ensure that participation of women at all levels of governance and economic activity is a symbol of freedom and equality in society. Namibia believes that women's participation and representation is central to equitable and sustainable development. Thus, Namibia continues to advocate for increased gender equality around the world, and we set ourselves the challenge of leading by example in our policies, programs, and actions. Similarly, we take cognizance of the fact that our youth are the backbones of the global village and the custodians of the keys to humanity's future. Therefore, Namibia remains committed to supporting the development of our young people and promoting greater youth participation in all areas of society, since they have a critical role to play in promoting global peace and development. To illustrate our commitment to youth empowerment, I have in my delegation 2 young ladies who are all, both of them, deputy ministers. We are under 30 years. One is about only 25 years old now. They, together with their peers, are the future. Mr. President, we face the most critical period in human history. Global peace is at stake. Human dignity is at stake. And the future of our global village is at stake. As we meet in this global parliament of humanity, we are called upon by the citizens of this world to craft a collective way forward that will ensure that we recover from the devastation of COVID-19 and chart a way forward towards a brighter future. Although the task may seem daunting, through unity of purpose will prevail. For where there is unity, there is hope to overcome COVID-19. Where there is unity, people can return to rebuilding sustainably. Where there is unity, we can respond to the needs of the planet and respect the rights of all people. Indeed, through unity, we'll revitalize the United Nations, transforming it into a bastion of global democracy that will save the world from the scourge of war and reaffirm faith in the fundamental human rights, dignity, and worth of each and every human being on this planet. I say always, one Namibia, one nation. And I say, one Africa, one continent. And I say, one world, one universe. Thank you very much.
Hage Geingob, Presidente de la República de Namibia.
I thank the President of the Republic of Namibia for the presentation he has just given. I ask protocol now to accompany His Excellency.